Why did the Supreme Court shift its Second Amendment views post-Heller? Imagine a world where your right to own a gun is clear and straightforward. Well, that's what the Supreme Court aimed for after the 2008 Heller decision. Before that, courts saw the Second Amendment as mostly about militias, not individual rights. But Heller changed everything. The court said that the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to keep and bear arms for self-defense, especially inside the home. This was a big shift, showing that people have a constitutional right to own guns for lawful reasons. Still, the court made it clear that this right isn't unlimited. Some gun laws can still be okay if they fit with the Constitution. After Heller, many questions popped up. How does this right work outside the home? What kind of tests do courts use to decide if gun laws are fair? And does this apply to states as well as the federal government? The court answered some of these in 2010 with the case called McDonald versus City of Chicago. They said that the Second Amendment is a fundamental right that applies across the country through the 14th Amendment. That meant states couldn't make laws that completely take away your right to own guns. But things didn't stay the same. Lower courts started using different ways to judge gun laws. They often used a two-step process. First, they checked if the Second Amendment covers the activity, then they decided what level of review to use. This led to some inconsistent decisions about carrying guns outside the home. Then came the 2022 case called Bruen. The Supreme Court made a big change again. They said that if the words of the Second Amendment clearly protect a person's conduct, then the government has to show that its gun laws are based on historical traditions. This means modern laws must be similar to old regulations from the past that had similar goals and limits. The court wants to balance your right to defend yourself with reasonable rules. So, what does all this mean for knowing your rights? It means the Second Amendment mainly protects your right to own guns for self-defense. But this right can be regulated if those rules are rooted in history. The court's changing views show that gun laws are now judged by whether they match what was done in the past. Understanding these shifts helps you see what rights you have and what limits are in place today. The court's move from broad protections to a historical approach makes it clearer how the Second Amendment is applied in real life.